It's Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy. Can you hear that? Listen. Not the car, but keep listening. There's like this weird, creepy sound. It sounds like bats or birds fighting. But like at any second, I'm expecting them just like to whoosh over my head. Well, with that being said, I am Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy. And here's the question. Am I happy now? You know, that's a yuppie word, happy. There's a Switchfoot song that says happy is a yuppie word. Not that I'm a yuppie, I'm not. Because don't you have to be like rich to be a yuppie? Okay. Am I happy? And I'm talking about hair here. I'm talking about receding hairline and hair. Now, here's why this is an important question. You know, if you travel back in time 6 months to December when I was shaving my head and making videos, and more than once I pointed out the fact that I was just as happy with hair as I was without hair when I shaved it down to a number 1. You know, I said that multiple times. I said that having hair is not going to make you happy other than giving you, I think I almost stepped on a frog. There's like they haven't trimmed this in a while, so I have to step around it. But that hair is not going to make you happy beyond giving you more confidence in yourself. Okay? I mean, when I think of it this way, how is having hair now in the month of June better than December when I had it shaved off at number 1? How is my life better with hair? So I thought about this for about 20 seconds and I couldn't come up with an answer. I couldn't figure out how having hair makes my life any better. There's no increased quality of life now that I have hair, right? Because everything we've done and talked about in these many weeks have even these months, I'm the same guy either way. And so with that being said, there's nothing different. I mean, I'm not happier, I'm not sadder. My emotions aren't based on how I look to that degree. Granted, I just want to be as presentable as possible based on the hair I've got. And I know that it's either shaving it off to a number 1 or doing something along the lines of this. You know, this is, to me, is a low maintenance haircut. I don't really have to do anything. I just dry it in the morning and that's it. Like, that's the end of it. But I'm saying all of this for this reason, as a reminder. Okay? I mean, because I know, again, I'm putting myself in your shoes. You're 20 years old, you're 19, you're 15, you're 16. And you're thinking, man, my hairline's going up. What's happening here? When am I going to lose all my hair? When am I going to lose all my hair? And we don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that myself. I mean, pretty much if I lose much more, I might as well start shaving it anyway. But I just want to serve as a reminder to you that look at me. I've got my hair back now. And I'm just as happy as a person as I ever was. It doesn't affect my life. And that's where I want to suggest that you get. Okay? I'm saying that because I'm handing that back to you. I want to help you get to that point where you realize hair's not going to make me happy. It's going to make me feel good about myself, but it's ultimately something you can't control. So to base your happiness on something you cannot control is not a wise thing. Because let's say you do keep your hair for another 10 years. Okay? Let's say you're 20 and you make it to 30 and then your hair really starts minimizing. There's a FedEx truck. We're going to try to get past here. Let me do a little run through the woods. All right. There we go. Okay. So let's say that you do get that extra 10 years. Let's say you're 20 now. You make it 10 years. Wow, look at that. You got married. You have a good job. You got through college. You did all that. And you kept your hair through all of it. Yes. And now you lose your hair. You don't lose all those things that actually matter to you, like your family and your education, your work experience. Whether you had hair for that or not, never mattered to begin with. It just superficially made you feel good about yourself. Because that's the thing. Hair's superficial. That's all it is. It's completely superficial. As men, God designed us
to lose our hair. I mean, I think that's a very good point, a very good theory, and I think it's hard to debunk that theory. God made us men to lose our hair. We're designed to lose our hair. We are. Like, even if you go back to like what the into the Bible, in the Old Testament and the New Testament, it talks about men wearing head, that there's shame, and if something, right? Is that what the deal was? It was, oh, I can't remember exactly, but the whole concept was women, their beauty was in their hair, right? That's a big biblical concept. But then as far as men, it actually says that shame, not that it's shameful, but I think the wording was it's unnatural for a man to have long hair. No, I'm not saying don't have long hair. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, if you want to easily divide it and make it more masculine and more feminine, the lack of hair is by default a natural, more masculine trait than a woman. Women typically don't lose their hair like men do. So ultimately, you're going to be fighting the system your whole life as far as hair goes if you want to base your happiness on something fleeting and superficial as hair, right? It's kind of like money. You know, money is important, absolutely. Money management is more important than having money. What good is winning the lottery if you don't know how to invest that money? It's a matter of just not spending on stupid things, but it's a matter of investing that money, right? So happiness is the same way. It's good to have it, but when you're banking and investing that happiness on something that's going to go away anyway, like, and I don't mean like, I mean pretty soon probably. Like, if you're 20, you may have, if you're lucky, 20 years left of having hair, and then the majority of the life, assuming you live to be 70 to 80, the rest of your life, you're dealt with not much up here. So imagine that. Yes, you're young now, but to bank any kind of future of your happiness on hair, when the majority of your life as a man, you're not gonna have it. And you're destined to be that way, unless you're one of the lucky ones like Anthony Bourdain, who's like 60 by now, or Tony Danza, he's in his 60s. There's certain men who keep a full head of hair. They just won the hair lottery, that's all it is. You know, they never had to go through what we do as men to realize, strip away that, and I'm still confident in who I am. I still did everything in my life. I got as far as I did without hair. Closing thought, closing simple thought. For me personally, how is my life any better now with hair than it was without it? It's not. It's not. I mean, what is it that you are so afraid to lose once we lose our hair? What do we think we're going to lose along with that hair is really ultimately the question. That's why you like me. That's why you're watching my videos, because I'm addressing the actual heart of the issue. We're not putting lotions and potions on here. We're not trying to stop our hair from falling out. It's going to happen. We may be able to slow it down, but it's not going to solve the ultimate problem. And that is finding confidence in who we are as men and celebrating masculinity, which means hair loss. Yes, celebrating hair loss, because that's a masculine thing to do. And there's no shame in looking like Bruce Willis when you're in your 50s or earlier. I mean, I'm 35. You know, do I even have another 5 years left where I can still have this much hair? Or will it look desperate that I'm trying to pull what I've got left together? Will I be better off just shaving it off? That's not a conversation of happiness. That's a conversation of desperation, planning ahead, but it ultimately doesn't matter at all. It doesn't lead to happiness, and even if it did, it's temporary happiness, and it's just a matter of time. So, what you can see is this whole conversation is this. Whatever you're basing your happiness on, if it's something very obviously temporary and destined to go away in a short amount of time, then let's go ahead and accept that now and grasp that now, right? So as far as hair goes, guess what? You're going to be disappointed because you're probably going to lose most of your hair. I am too. I already am, right? But let's accept that. Let's go into our quiet place, which is this. Is this a pine tree? And let's close with this. I want to make sure I can see you real good. I want to make sure I'm not stepping on a snake. Okay, let's accept this right now mentally. You're going to lose your hair. You're not going to be one of those guys like Anthony Bourdain who's in his 60s or whatever. And that's not you, and it's not me. That's not our fate. We don't win that lottery. But as far as the card that life handed us, it was for us to figure this out and deal with it and move on and find identity in ourselves despite hair, right? That's our fate. So if another day goes by without us realizing that, basically it's a day wasted. And it's not something we may be able to get all at once. We may have to dwell on that and think about it. You may have to hear me say it more than just this video, that your happiness isn't based on this, right? And the moment you can get there, you get to rise above that restriction that you're putting on yourself, that limitation that you're somehow less of a person or less of a man or less attractive, and therefore you can't be as happy because you're less attractive. That whole loop, that's not the world I live in. That's the world I escaped from. And that's why I make these videos, to help you bring you along with me. I know this is a long video, but this is something that needs to be said. I think this is a deep part of this whole psychology of why you're watching these videos every day. You know, because I don't watch my own videos. I don't even know what I say half the time. It's a stream of consciousness. But the fact that I keep getting subscribers and you keep watching it, I feel I need to stick with that formula. I need to keep saying what comes out just the moment I press record. I think this has all been important. So hair won't make you happy, not for long, and it's going to leave you. So you base your life on what's going to be long term. Hair's not long term. Why? Because we're guys, we're masculine, that's why. I'm Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy.